All right, so far we have 7 chords in our pocket, 1 for each degree of the scale, giving us our diatonic chords, or the chords from the major key, just the basic 1 to 7, right? And this brings us to our first chord vocab upgrade on our journey to the Magic 19 with the applied chords. Now these are really cool. They're tension chords that direct you to a specific resolution. If I play that, I know you want to hear that, right? So they make the chord you're going to more desirable. Like for example, if I'm going to go to a D minor chord, listen to how Bach makes it almost a relief to get to that chord, right? It ends up sounding really good, plus you get lots of extra colors and possibilities, okay? So far the chords we've learned have been exclusively within that scale. I never step on the hot lava, right? The outside or bad sounding notes. And that gave us our biggest takeaway so far, which is if I obey that key, my 1, my 4, and my 5 will be major. The 2, the 3, and the 6 will be minor. And the 7 has no choice but to be diminished, okay? Now that gives us full control over our little slice of the cycle of fifths, but it also means we are trapped within it. But check this song out and look how far away we go and how many rules we break. So far so good. Right there. Two of them.
Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
How far away we are.
I said, Georgia.
Okay, so 2 things to notice there. Number 1 is it sounds great. That's an awesome song. Number 2, I was playing outside the key almost the entire time. So, you know, the first time I learned about this, I actually got frustrated with my teacher because I just spent so much time learning what notes not to hit, and now suddenly I can just play them anyways whenever. So the answer is it's not whenever. It's very limited, very predictable, and actually pretty straightforward, and that's what we're going to do today. So we got 4 things on the agenda. We're on step 4B. So what we're going to be doing, because we're kind of over a music theory black hole here, we're going to just do a real fast speed answer first so you can start using it right away without having to dig too deep into it. Then dig deeper with the 5-7-1 falling fifths relationship. Then the meat and potatoes with the dominant chords, caged dominant and caged full diminished. Okay, those were our tension chords. And then finally, we're going to look at that song just at the end really quickly with new eyes to see how tastefully you can use these applied chords and how you can incorporate them into your playing. All right, let's get at it. All right, so you can summarize the whole video in pretty much 2 points. The first point is this: be ready to build a dominant chord on every single scale degree. If you don't know what a dominant is, that's what we're going to be doing here very shortly. So, for example, 1 is supposed to be major. We just build a dominant on it. 2 minor, nope, 2 dominant. 3 dominant. 4 dominant we don't use as much. It's more of a blues thing, not an applied chord. 5 dominant. And take a note there, I'm actually not outside the scale on that one, okay? 6 minor, nope, 6 dominant, and 7 dominant. So I'm building dominance on pretty much every scale degree. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is probably the next chord is going to be the next number in the falling fifths phone number, 1 4 7 3 6 2 5 1. Let me show you what I mean. If I was to play a 5 dominant, the next chord would be 1, probably. 5 likes to go to 1, okay? If I play a 1 dominant, it would like to go to 4. Hear that? So the first one is the 5 of 1, or just 5 chord. This is actually called, instead of calling it a 1 dominant, people will call it a 5 of 4, which means a tension chord that wants to go to 4. Okay? There's a little problem in the relationship between these two. They don't really get along. So that's why 4 is not really used that often as a dominant. But if I play a 7 dominant, would love to go to 3. 3 dominant, would love to go to 6. 1, 4, 7, 3, 6. I play 6 dominant, like to go to 2. If I play 2 dominant, you get the idea. 2 loves to go to 5. And finally 5 back to 1. Okay? And that's you can expect that to happen for sure. Doesn't always happen. I can show you tons of examples of where they break that. But to summarize the entire thing, be ready to build a dominant on any scale degree. And probably the next chord is a falling 5th away. Or, for example, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right? Falling 5, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4. So 1 to 4. Or falling 5. So that's why it's called falling 5ths. That's pretty much it. So now to break it down a bit more and to see how these chords control your ear. All right. So the first thing to know, just listen to your ear, not the theory. So if I play this, what are you waiting for? Right? I can't just stop there. Same if I go up here. You're dying for that note. That's because this 7 is what's called the leading tone. It's this really strong tendency to go to 1. 7 really wants to go up to 1. Okay? If I play this, 4 has a tendency to go to 3, not nearly as strong, but 4 likes to go to 3, 7 likes to go to 1. Okay? Now this is a case of a 1 plus 1 equals 3, because I get this note as a tendency note, that note as a tendency note, but when I play them at the same time, I get this special thing called a tritone, the devil's tone, diminished 5th. And you can hear how tense that sounds, right? Compare that to a perfect 5th, right? There's the perfect 5th. Compare that to the evil, tense sounding, right? There's an inherent tension in there that's got to be resolved. And I'm resolving it by simply going from the 7 to the 1 and the 4 to the 3. So that's one of the main driving forces in all tonal music, is this tritone resolving to a 1 and a 3. Now that 1 and the 3, if you remember, that's kind of how we build a 1 chord, and that's kind of why it's a 1 chord, is because that's where this scale is steering you the whole time. So for example, if I play chord 7, I get to see the tension in it, right? See how much sense that makes? So I'm going to find the 7 and the 4 inside of a 7 chord, 7, 2, 4, 6, right? But there's one other place that's really important where you find it. If I play chord 5, remember it was 5, 7, 2. 5's the root, 7's the 3rd, 2 is the 5th. If I go to find the 7th, 5, 7, 2, 4. So if I put the 7th in this chord and play a 5, 7 chord, I also find the tritone. And that's why 5 loves to go to 1. Right? Same thing, 7 likes to go to 1. They are both considered the dominant chords of the key. They're twins. They're a pair. Right? So all that to say, is that these applied chords come in pairs. You have a dominant chord or the 5 chord, usually a 5/7. So a dominant chord and a diminished chord. Now the dominant chord loves to fall by fifths, right? Where the 7 chord will resolve up a fret. So that's actually a lot easier to find. So let's say my goal is 1. I would go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Build it. And if you don't know how to build these dominants, just get the concept. We're going to be doing all of this right after this. So I build a dominant on 5 and fall to 1. Or find the note directly below my goal and do a diminished. Right? So for example, let's say my goal was 4, right? So my goal is a 4 chord there. So how would I get there? Well, that's the goal. So I look up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 1, right? So if I do a 1 dominant, or look 1 fret behind and do a diminished, I'm going to find the pair. Okay. What if my goal was a 2? Okay, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I look up a 5th, do the dominant, or look 1 behind to find the 7, right? What if my goal was a 6? Well, here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know it's going to be a 3 dominant. 1, 4, 7, 3 to 6. Or I look 1 behind and do a diminished. Makes sense? Try another one. What if my goal is a 3? Well, I'd look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know it's going to be a 7 dominant. Or 1 fret below diminished. Yeah, nice that sounds. So that's it. That's why in this next step here we're just about to do, we got to learn our caged dominant and caged diminished, because those are the two that make the pair, make these partner chords of the applieds.